The Agatha Christie Collection. Book summary. Agatha Christie is synonymous with detective fiction. Over a prolific career spanning more than half a century, she wrote 66 detective novels and 14 short story collections, many of which are included in the Agatha Christie Collection. This compendium is a literary treasure trove of classic whodunits, cunningly plotted puzzles, and unforgettable sleuths. It typically includes titles such as Murder on the Orient Express, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, And Then There Were None, Death on the Nile, The Body in the Library, and The ABC Murders, among others. These works reflect Christie's masterful ability to combine suspense, character psychology, and narrative ingenuity. 1. Murder on the Orient Express, one of Christie's most iconic works. Murder on the Orient Express features her famous Belgian detective, Hercule Poirot. Traveling from Istanbul to Calais aboard the luxurious Orient Express, Poirot is thrust into a murder investigation when wealthy American Samuel Ratchet is found stabbed to death in his locked compartment. With the train stopped by a snowdrift and all passengers trapped, Poirot must act swiftly. The investigation leads to a stunning revelation. Ratchet was actually a notorious criminal named Cassetti, responsible for the kidnapping and death of a child, Daisy Armstrong. Each passenger aboard the train is discovered to have a connection to the Armstrong family, and together they orchestrated the murder in a collective act of justice. This novel is a meditation on morality and justice, blurring the line between legality and ethical retribution. Christie challenges the reader's sense of right and wrong with her resolution. Should 12 people be condemned for avenging a child's murder when the law failed? 2. The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. Considered one of the greatest detective novels of all time, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd revolutionized the genre with its use of the unreliable narrator. Set in the English village of King's Abbot, the story is told by Dr. James Shepherd, who becomes involved in the investigation when his friend, the wealthy Roger Ackroyd, is found stabbed to death. Poirot, now retired and living in the village, is pulled back into action. As he peels back layers of lies and misdirection, he ultimately reveals that the murderer is none other than Dr. Shepherd himself. The twist, stunning for its time, redefined reader expectations of narrative structure in crime fiction. The novel is not just a brilliant puzzle but also an exploration of human deception and the masks we wear. Christie uses misdirection not just in plot but in narrative voice, inviting the reader into a conspiracy without their knowledge. 3. And Then There Were None. This chilling, stand-alone mystery is one of Christie's darkest and most psychologically complex stories. 10 strangers are lured to a remote island under various pretenses. Soon, a gramophone recording accuses each guest of a past crime. One by one, the guests die in ways echoing a sinister nursery rhyme framed in each bedroom. As paranoia mounts, the characters confront their guilt and fear. With no way off the island and no clear killer, the suspense intensifies until all are dead. In a posthumous confession, it is revealed that retired Judge Lawrence Wargrave orchestrated the murders as a form of justice, punishing those the courts could not. And Then There Were None is an exploration of justice, guilt, and psychological torment. With no detective and no traditional resolution, Christie breaks from convention to create a haunting portrait of moral reckoning. 4. Death on the Nile. Set against the exotic backdrop of an Egyptian cruise, Death on the Nile showcases Christie's flair for combining glamour, intrigue, and murder. Newlyweds Lynette Ridgway and Simon Doyle are honeymooning aboard a steamer on the Nile. Lynette's former friend Jacqueline de Belfort, whom she betrayed by marrying Simon, follows them, intent on confrontation. When Lynette is shot dead, suspicion falls on Jacqueline, but her apparent innocence, bolstered by an alibi, deepens the mystery. Poirot unravels a twisted conspiracy. Simon and Jacqueline were in collusion all along, using psychological manipulation and feigned injuries to carry out the perfect murder and inherit Lynette's fortune. Themes of betrayal, greed, and jealousy pervade the novel. Christie also critiques colonialism and class distinctions through her vivid setting. The novel's structure exemplifies Christie's ability to embed clues in plain sight while keeping the final twist unexpected. 5. The body in the library, Miss Marple takes center stage in this classic village mystery. A young woman's body is discovered in the library of Colonel and Mrs. Bantry, respected members of the community. The victim, Ruby Keene, was a dance hostess at a local seaside hotel. Miss Marple, with her sharp eye for human nature, suspects foul play tied to inheritance and identity. As another young girl is found murdered, Miss Marple deduces a calculated plot involving impersonation and greed. The killer staged Ruby's murder to look like someone else's and then eliminated the real girl to cover their tracks. This novel highlights Christie's expertise in suburban settings and her deep understanding of character. Miss Marple, often underestimated, proves that intuition and observation are potent tools for uncovering the truth in a world governed by appearances. 6. The ABC Murders. In this unsettling Poirot mystery, a serial killer known only as ABC is taunting the detective with advance notice of each crime. The killer's pattern appears alphabetical, Andover, Bexhill, Churston, each victim's name and location matching the next letter in the sequence. As the body count rises, Poirot notices inconsistencies. The murders seem random, but deeper investigation reveals that one victim, Sir Carmichael Clark, was the real target. The rest were distractions, a cover-up to hide a personal motive behind an impersonal pattern. This novel explores the psychology of serial killers, public perception of crime, and the danger of overlooking the individual in the face of statistical trends. It's a race against time, and a showcase of Poirot's psychological acuity. Recurring characters and styles. Across the Agatha Christie collection, several recurring characters and motifs appear. Hercule Poirot, with his fastidious habits, Belgian pride, and razor-sharp mind, Poirot is Christie's most famous creation. His reliance on the little gray cells contrasts with the physicality of other fictional detectives. Miss Marple, the elderly spinster sleuth from St. Mary Mead, uses her knowledge of village life and human behavior to solve crimes others overlook. She embodies the idea that wisdom and perception matter more than forensic tools. Tommy and Tuppence Beresford, a dynamic, adventurous couple who blend humor and daring with their investigations. Their stories often include espionage and political intrigue, offering a lighter, faster-paced take on detective work. Christie's signature style includes red herrings, intricate plotting, and the clever use of setting, be it a snowbound train, an English village, or a cruise on the Nile. She is a master of pacing and suspense, often delaying the big reveal until the final chapter. Major themes across the collection: justice and morality. Christie's characters often grapple with questions of moral justice versus legal justice. In Murder on the Orient Express and Then There Were None, vigilante justice is the focal point, inviting readers to question whether the ends justify the means. The facade of respectability. Many characters are pillars of society hiding secrets. Christie dissects social status and reputation, showing how appearances can mask dark truths. Deception and identity. Characters frequently assume false identities or present misleading personas. Christie explores the fluid nature of identity and how it can be weaponized. Psychological insight. Christie was ahead of her time in her understanding of human psychology. Her murderers are not always monsters, but ordinary people driven to extremes by love, envy, greed, or fear. The closed circle. A recurring narrative device is the closed circle of suspects, often confined by geography, a train, an island, a hotel, heightening the tension and reducing possibilities to a manageable yet suspenseful few. Christie's enduring legacy. Agatha Christie's genius lies not only in her dazzling plots but in her deep understanding of human nature. She creates memorable characters who feel real even as they navigate improbable situations. Her stories are not just about solving murders, they're about uncovering motivations, peeling back layers of civility, and understanding what drives people to the edge. Her writing is deceptively simple, clear, economical, and rhythmic. Yet beneath the surface lies a sophisticated architecture of plot and misdirection. She empowers the reader to play detective while constantly outsmarting them. The Agatha Christie Collection is more than a compendium of murder mysteries. It's a gallery of human behavior, a map of moral complexity, and a celebration of intellect over violence. Whether through Poirot's neat logic or Miss Marple's grandmotherly intuition, Christie's stories continue to captivate audiences, proving that good storytelling, and the quest for truth, never go out of style.